Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1. So this show is an interesting show because this is, back in the day when the Marvel MCU thing didn't just first started, uh, we didn't have Disney Plus, right? So there wasn't those kind of shows. And a lot of fans are mixed on them. Some fans really like them, other ones really hate them. I'm I'm fine with them. Honestly, I don't really care. Uh, as long as they're good, and some of them haven't been great, but other ones I've really enjoyed, like Agatha and WandaVision and Loki and some of these other shows. But but people forget that there were actual Marvel TV shows before that, like Agents of Shield. And Agents of Shield was a long running show. It ran for 7 seasons, despite the fact that in the MCU, Shield was established in that first Captain America, or not first Captain America, but in really established, like in the first phase of Marvel, like in Iron Man and stuff with Nick Fury and stuff, and then you know really shown off in the first Avengers movie, and then by the end of that first phase, phase two started up. We got Captain America: Winter Soldier, and what we knew is Shield was totally different and gone, and so it's kind of an interesting thing that this show ended up running for 7 seasons, and so it's just interesting to think about that with the knowledge of this show out there. That it was a 7 season show that no one really talks about anymore, and yet was a big part of the Marvel universe for a while. And I think some of that is there are people are like, how is this really canon? I don't know the logistics. I haven't seen the whole show. I only actually saw the first few episodes when it first came out, and then I didn't really keep watching, just because I didn't have the channel in our basic cable package it was on. So once it hit Netflix, I watched a little bit of it, but never went back. But you know, also I was really young for a show like this, so probably wouldn't have enjoyed it that much even if I did watch it. But it's a good show, and for what from this first season, anyways. But I just find all that stuff interesting. Thought I'd bring that up. So, kind of with this review series, we're kind of going to discover together how much of this show is really canon. Do we think? How much is all that? Because I don't think that gets discussed enough. This first season is pretty good, though. Basically, the point of this show is, kind of going into the workings of S.H.I.E.L.D., but mostly giving us more of Agent Coulson, which was kind of an interesting thing because Agent Coulson, was a character that in the first Avengers movie died. So a lot of people, when this came out, this was one of the first moments where major character in the MCU died, and then they brought him back immediately. A lot of fans were like, "How's that gonna work?" It works really well. They do a good job actually explaining it. Not early on in the show, but the more the show goes into it and deals with him, how he's been revived, what that looks like, and the insanity of all of it, and then kind of yeah, and then it does a really great job of kind of like Winter Soldier, where Cap's worldview is challenged in a way where Agent Coulson's and his teammates' worldview of everything going on is challenged by the end of the show. It's kind of flipped on its head, and it sets up a really interesting season two. And I think it gives a really good journey for some of these characters that I really enjoyed watching. I thought it was a great ending to what I think is a pretty solid run of TV. I think the show doesn't fully get engaging till about 5 episodes in. It gets pretty engaging, but then once you get to about episode 11, I think the show gets really strong, and then from there, it just does not miss a beat. All the episodes are great, and I think this show really worked